Okay, good afternoon. My name's Nick Goldrick. I'm Regional Manager for BundleDocs in Australia and New Zealand. This afternoon, we have been putting this together with our friends and colleagues at Actionstep. Unfortunately, Tyler's had a few tech issues. So what we'll do is present how BundleDocs seamlessly creates a legal brief in 5 easy steps, and how you can utilize your Actionstep platform to sync your documents directly from Actionstep into BundleDocs to create an e-brief. Secondly, the second part of the presentation, to give you an update for those who haven't heard that BundleDocs, we've recently released for our friends in New Zealand the Senior Court Protocol as per the Ministry of Justice electronic brief protocol. So that functionality is now in BundleDocs and available now. Without further ado, I'll hand over to our CEO and co-founder, Brian Keneally. So over to you, Brian.
Thanks, Nick, and good afternoon, everybody. I assume there's a mix of people from Australia and New Zealand here today. So what I aim to do, as Nick said, is first thing I need to do, the first side of this webinar, is to just show you how easy it is to create electronic briefs and bundles. So I'll just show you how to do that. And basically, for those who haven't seen what an electronic brief looks like, I mean, it's just a PDF document that's indexed, it's searchable, it's bookmarked. We can, I mean, that's the idea behind it, and we can design it any way we want. So if you look here, I've an electronic brief that I can skip around, and I can move around the document quickly and easily. And I'll show you how easy it is to produce something like that. The second part then is basically really about New Zealand users for your superior courts, like your high courts, where the numbering protocol is different, the criteria is different, and I'll quickly run through that as well to give you an idea. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the basics of BundleDocs. So what I have is I have Actionstep open and I have BundleDocs. But I'll concentrate on the BundleDocs side for obvious reasons. It's a cloud-based product. You do have to go to bundledocs.com, and as a user, you do have to sign into the product. Now, there are different ways of signing in, and you can sign directly in using your Actionstep login or federated logins and stuff like that. But the idea is that you must log into the product. So I'm simply going to sign into BundleDocs here. Now, the idea is that when you sign into something like BundleDocs, you sign into your homepage, and how security is handled internally, which is kind of internal collaboration, is it's handled through Teams. So if you create a bundle, we use a thing called pessimistic security. If you create a bundle in BundleDocs, the default is nobody gets to see it unless you decide to share it, and how you share it is through Teams. So if you're a member of the dispute team, let's say, and you create a bundle, other members of the same team will see that bundle. If they're not members of your team, they don't even know it exists. So as I've logged into my home page. A few simple things: clicking this logo always brings you back to the home page. A few small things in terms of support over here. Again, it's a cloud-based product. The manual is freely available. We keep it up to date every few weeks, so just be aware the manual is there. There's also, which may be of interest, if you go into the website itself and go down to the very base of it, there's a YouTube channel here. With that YouTube channel, what we've done is there's a whole suite of short videos and playlists. So if you go to the videos tab, there's kind of all 1, 2, 3 minute videos of how to do various things using BundleDocs, which is a quick and easy way of finding out, I don't know, you may want to annotate, or you may want to create, a zip bundle, and we'll go through those things. Playlists, just a compilation of these videos, so just be aware of that. So back to my homepage. These are bundles I've either previously created or somebody who is a member of my team has created and has allowed me access. And down at the very base of this is templating. The idea of templates is that if you're producing bundles in a particular style, structure, or format in a repetitive basis, you're better off creating a template and presenting those templates to your users. It saves time, and we can come back to that later. But for people who've never seen BundleDocs before, I need to explain how the whole product works. And what I'll step through is what's known as a 5-step process. When we designed the product first, we looked at how we manually created bundles, let's say for our circuit and high courts. And what we did is we identified 5 steps along the process. Now, step 5 could be printing. Historically, nowadays there's other options in step 5. So I'm going to go through those 5 steps pretty quickly to give you an idea. So step 1 for any users, we need to create our workspace. So you click on this guy here. Typically, when you're creating workspace, being legal people, we type in a client matter code, and we describe the case. So woods is taken on the trees. So this is our matter description or case description or matter code or case code, and we simply click create. So all we've actually done is created the workspace, which is step one. Very simple. It appears top of your listing. If you have any other users that are a member of your team, it appears now on their listing as well, and they can collaborate and work with you on this. This is internal collaboration. So we'll click to go into it. Now, we've gone into this workspace that we've created. Now, the workspace has been created using no template, so there's absolutely nothing inside in here. What we have is a blank folder which is badly named, and we've 6 buttons. In reality, as a user, you'll tend to use these 4 buttons and in the order they appear. So step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5 in this 5-step process. So what I'll do is I'll go through these steps. Now, obviously, if you hover over something long enough, it should tell you what it does anyway, but we'll go through this process here. The first thing I will do is I'll rename this section into something more logical. Say, I don't know, it could be a pleadings folder. This guy here, which is step 2 of these 5 steps, allows us to create these folders. You click on this guy, so correspondence, if I could spell, I could put a P in there maybe. And there's no limits to this because we use a thing called Microsoft Windows Azure. It means that there's no limits to any of the folder creation and stuff like that. So that's step 2 of our 5 steps. Step 3 says we can now add documents. Now, so for today's webinar, I'm going to take documents from 2 different sources to show that you can take documents from anywhere. In the first instance, I'll take documents, say, from my network drive, and in the second instance, I can take documents directly from Actionstep, because remember, Actionstep is a cloud-based product like ourselves, and we can do a cloud-to-cloud transfer, and it's quite easy. So the first step, I'll say into my pleadings folder, I'm going to choose some documents, say, that I have on my network drive or whatever. So I'll grab a bunch of documents and I'll say, upload those, please. The idea is that when we upload documents, we do 2 things. One, we keep a copy of we upload the original document in its original format and store it in its original format. The second thing we do is we convert each document in turn to PDF. Now, it's the PDF is what we tend to work on. So if you look, these documents have been uploaded successfully and they appear here. Now, the original icon is kept, but the documents are now actually PDFs. And to prove it, if I preview any document, I can read the content of it. If any of you use white screens, you'll see a little button here, and if you click on it, it snaps into place. So as a fee earner, I can skip through any documents and read the content. Alternatively, I can go forwards and backwards here. I can move forward here, which is the old traditional way of doing it, or I could select a document to read, and that's the general idea. I can set rules that say if I upload emails and if those emails have attachments, make sure the email comes up and the attachment comes up as part of it, but as a subset of it. So you can see my email is 1.3, my attached document is 1.3.1. If something is in the wrong place, I simply drag it and drop it. You can see I move that email. I could take this notice of trial document and push it up here. I could take this defense document down here. I can move that reply, whatever. And you can see you can move stuff around the place quickly and easily. When you do that, you see the numbering goes out. If I click save, it automatically reindexes. So the idea is indexation, pagination, all that we can forget about because it'll do it automatically for us. Now, I could take that defense document and fire it under correspondence. You can see 1.9. If I click save, it becomes 2.1. Now, the reality is you're not going to spend your lives dragging and dropping individual documents, especially if you're dealing with large cases. So there's lots of quick and easy ways of moving documents. Now, and I won't go through all those, but I'll mention one, let's say, quick way. Let's say I want to move these 5 documents together in one go below this defense document. As an example, I click over here on the right-hand side. I hold the Shift key down, click the last guy. They're all selected. And all I have to do is click on the icon. They all follow. I click save. They reindex. So just be aware there's plenty of quick and easy ways of moving documents around the place. If I want to rename any document, I simply type in what I want to call it, ABC 123, whatever. Now, the naming convention of your documents are important. If documents are well named, it means the index is generated quickly and easily. I can also manipulate any PDF that I've uploaded. So to manipulate a PDF, I preview. Here's my PDF. If top left here is my thumbnail view. Now, a thumbnail view is an obvious one that I can skip out into any page and read the content of it. If I double click a page, it's highlighted. When it's highlighted means I can action something on that page that I've highlighted. Now I can select multiple pages, but in this instance I've selected one page. Let's say I want to reorder it. Let's say I want to flick it upside down, or we've scanned the image in upside down, or we want to change it from landscape to portrait, or portrait to landscape. I can do that. If I want to drag it over here and select reorder, it'll place that page in the middle here. If I want to remove some pages, I select the pages I want to reduce and click reduce. If I want to split this PDF up into multiple PDFs, I can do that. This could be, for instance, a scanned image of a letter enclosing a document. I can split it in two. Or somebody may have sent you a PDF containing multiple documents. We can split those out into their constituent parts. To deskew goes back to the days where we scanned in documents and they lean left or lean right. To deskew a document or deskew a page squares it up. So just be aware that this guy allows you to manipulate documents, and this is all in the preparation phase. One other item I'll touch on before I generate a bundle for the first time is if I click home and if I edit the case in question here on the right hand side, if I go into advanced and I've show documentation screen is set to no, if I set it to yes, and if I update and if I go back in, what I've in effect done is asked BundleDocs to display the document date. Now the date it will display is the last edit date of your document, or if it's an email, it's the sent or received date of an email. Where that's handy is that I can quickly and easily change dates by just simply typing in the date here. But more importantly, especially with larger data, is over these guys here. This guy on the left here allows me order these documents by date. If I click it once, it's from oldest to newest. If I click it again, it's from newest to oldest. So it's a toggle switch. And the guy on the right allows you to do it alphabetically, so from A to Z or Z to A. So the idea is that you can quickly and easily order your documents in chronological order and simply click save, and it reindexes automatically. So quickly, as I'm skipping along to recap, I created my workspace, step 1. I created my folders, step 2, pleadings, correspondence. Step 3, I uploaded some documents, from a source, and I manipulated them and I moved them around the place. Step 4, which is this guy, says let's generate a bundle for the first time. Now, when you go to generate a bundle, there's lots of options, and I'm going to ignore the mall bar. I'll call it version 1, and I'll click generate. Now, the reasoning behind that is that the generation process is really, really quick. But if you're generating something with a few thousand documents, let's say it could take 20 minutes or whatever, you don't have to sit and wait for this. It's all server based. It'll carry on anyway. When the process is complete, it checks you're still logged in. If you're still logged in, it will open up in the previewer. If you've logged out, it simply sends you an email. So this guy has spotted that I'm still logged in, so it's opened up to allow me to preview it. The first thing to note is we haven't uploaded a cover page. We can later. We'll worry about that as well. And this is the indexes produced. Now, this is what's known as the default index. This is the index BundleDocs produces if you don't inject what's known as your own custom index. And a custom index could be any style of index with any amount of columns or whatever. And again, I'll show you examples of different styles of custom index. But if you don't have any style, it defaults back to this style. Now, in this instance, we've consecutive numbering. Everything is hyperlinked, it's bookmarked, and it's searchable. There's my section A pleadings. Here's my first document. In this instance, we've superposed our number down the bottom right hand side, page 1, page 2, page 3. If I scroll back up, if I want to look at a document, what I mean is hyperlinked, I click on it and it brings me directly to that document. The real advantage here is that it's simple to make changes. We get out of the habit of paper, because I'm not saying you become paperless overnight, but you become paperlight. So let's say we want to add more documents. So again, we go back to our upload. Now in this instance, in my pleadings folder, I'm going to add documents directly from Actionstep. So I click on Actionstep. If I haven't previously logged in, it'll ask me to log in. I can search for a matter. Let's say I know I have a matter, James versus Piper. I select the matter. Here are the folders within that. Here are the documents here. Let's say I go into my medical reports or my engineer's reports. I can select a document, or I can type in part of a name and it'll find it for me. I can select all documents in this folder, or I can select documents at random. So I'll select, say, I select these 3 documents and I'll simply say upload those. So the idea again with Actionstep, because it's cloud to cloud, you simply go to upload, you select Actionstep, it'll know who you are if you've previously logged in, and you basically select the documents or the folder you want to upload, and they upload automatically, and that's the idea. You see these guys have been just uploaded directly from Actionstep. I click save, and you can see they're there. All I now have to do is generate again. I go back to generate. Now this time I'll generate with a few subtle differences. Call it version 2. I'll remove my title page. I don't need it. Custom indexing I will come back to. Let's say you want to send this to council for advice and proofs. You could apply draft watermarking. Annotations I will also come back to, and styles, but page numbering is an important one. If I want to number every single page of my booklet, including index pages, cover pages, then I'd select number all pages. If I want to change my numbering style so that my numbering starts at page number 1 for each new section, I select restart page numbering. That tends to be the standard in most civil litigation. If I want to prefix my page numbers with the section letter, which we tend to do in family and in some civil types of litigation, I can do that. So instead of page number 1, it'll be A1, and instead of page number here 1, it'll be B1. So I'll select that and simply click generate. So the idea is that when you're generating a bundle, you can suit your style every time. Every time you generate, you can produce a different style if you need to. Now again, going back to templating, you'd avoid this because you'd have it pre-set up for you. So I'll simply go through the process again. Let that process finish. And you can see, we've removed our cover page. We've produced the same, bland looking index. We've applied draft watermarking. We've changed our numbering style, A1 for section A and B1 for section B rather than say page 14. If I click defense document, you can see it's B1. One other item I'll do before I move on is the idea, let's say you produce this bundle, you produce it a number of times, you print out copies. What tends to happen here quite regularly is the idea that you produce the bundle and you need to upload some more documents after that's been done. So just to explain, if I just grab quickly 2 documents here and I'll explain what I'm doing. Let's say these documents have now come in after the event. So we've produced the bundle, we've printed out copies, we've sent copies to the court store or to the other side or whatever. And just after we've done that, these 2 documents have just arrived in. So just purely for illustration to explain this, I'm going to mark these as late. I'm going to type in the word late, which is something you will never do. So the 2 documents with the word late have just arrived in. We need to add them to our bundle, but we need to add them as late insert documents. So to do that, if we edit here on the right hand side, we go to advanced, we mark the document as a late insert and we update. With this document, we edit, advanced, late insert and update. Now you'll see visually these 2 documents look different to all the others, and to prove it, if I just place them right in the middle of my bundle set, and if I click save and I now click generate for the 3rd time, V3 and generate. What I want BundleDocs to do is produce sub-numbering for me, because the original document numbers, I don't want these guys to be interfered with. So the idea is that you can prepare bundles in advance. If something changes, you can add those documents as late insert documents, and what it produces is sub-numbering. So you can see my civil bill is document number 2, the defense document is 2:1, the civil bill is 2:2. These numbers haven't changed, and these numbers haven't changed. Moving swiftly along, you eventually get to step 5 of the 5-step process. So step 1, workspace. Step 2, folders. Step 3, upload from various sources. Step 4, generate. Step 5 is about distribution. Traditionally, when we produce these bundles before, now at the moment, I'm kind of ignoring the New Zealand protocols. I'm still creating a bundle based on a single PDF. We'll worry about multiple PDFs later. But every time you generate a bundle, it keeps a copy. It tells me who generated, when he generated, and who he generated for, because this guy Brian is obviously the only person that has. So you can select any previously generated bundle and preview it. I can download it as a PDF to my desktop, because remember, at this stage all we're actually producing is a PDF. You can see it is just a PDF. Again, what I mean by that, I can go file and save, file and print. I can scroll up, I can scroll down, I can go Control and F to search the content. But much more importantly, as we looked earlier, is the bookmark bar. So you can see my index is bookmarked, my section A pleadings index is bookmarked, my section B correspondence index is bookmarked, and all my documents within each of these index are also bookmarked, so I can navigate quickly and easily through these documents. So remember, what we're actually producing is an indexed, paginated, searchable, bookmarked electronic bundle. To the right of that guy says, okay, now that I've produced this bundle, I need to send it to somebody. And how we do it is we send it electronically. So if I send it to lisa@bundledocs.com. Now, to send a bundle electronically means you're sending a hyperlink. So you're not being restricted by the size of the bundle you've produced. So if you've produced a bundle with a few thousand documents, it's you can send it instantaneously via BundleDocs. So you forward it to a third party. When you're forwarding it, you're actually in effect forwarding a hyperlink. Good policy when you're doing it is you send it with a password. If you send it with a password, you send the bundle as a hyperlink, the user clicks on the hyperlink, they'll then be prompted to type in the password, which is separate as a separate email. Once they type it in correctly, it will download to their desktop. The only thing what we found from experience, if you're sending bundles to courts, remove the password. Court clerks just don't like passwords. That's probably the best way to put it. So you can send it with or without a password. You can set download limits. I can let Lisa download it 4 times. It will expire on this date. Obviously, a courtesy message of who I am, explaining who I am. Now, receive summary notification is something that I can opt in or opt out of, because if I opt in and I send it, it simply sends me an email confirming that I've sent it to somebody. It does not confirm she's received it. And a lot of instances, that's irrelevant. We don't need it. In some cases, we do. So I'll opt in, I'll click send, click OK. That hyperlink has been forwarded out to that third party. So if I go back to forward, and if I go back to this guy and I look at my active download invitations, I can see that I've sent it to Lisa. 0/4 says she hasn't downloaded it. She can up to 4 times. If she doesn't, it will expire on this date, but we can change our minds. The importance of this is that if she receives it and she downloads it, it will download to her desktop. That number will change from 0 to 1, but more importantly is we'll receive an email of confirmation receipt. That must be stored back down in Actionstep. That's the important one. That's like your registered post. Now, the only downside of this is when you are forwarding a bundle to a third party, technically you're forwarding a bundle from a third party, which is BundleDocs, to a third party, which is, say, your client or the other side. If you come across resistance in the fact that they want you to send it directly from your own Outlook account, then this little button down here allows you to do exactly the same thing and allows you to copy the hyperlink directly into your own Outlook account, so you can send it that way as well. So just be aware, when you forward a bundle to a third party, you can send it directly from within BundleDocs, directly to third party, or directly from your own Outlook account. So that's a very, very brief run through summary of the basics of BundleDocs. So just to be aware, you create your workspace, which is step 1. You create your backbone infrastructure, your folders, step 2. You upload your documents from whatever source, Actionstep, from wherever, step 3. You manipulate, you prepare that, you get it ready, and then you generate, step 4. And step 5 is about distribution, sending it to whoever, and that's the idea there. So just be aware that that's the basics. Very quickly, I'll step on some other things to be aware of before I move on. If I preview a document, remember when we previewed a document earlier, we looked at this guy here and allowed us, gave us a thumbnail view and allowed us manipulate the documents and prepare the documents. What we can also do over here behind this paperclip are add annotations. So we can redact, we can highlight, we can comment, and we can stamp documents. So if I want to redact some data, I click the redaction button and I simply redact whatever body or paragraph of text I want to redact. Now when I say redact, I'm not in effect redacting, I'm placing the redaction placeholder over some text. I'll worry about that later. But because remember the bundle is searchable, I can also search for content. So I can search for the word trial, let's say, because we're in notes of trial, I know I'd find it. So I can find that word or pattern, it could be a witness or whatever. If I think there's multiple occurrences in this document, I click highlight and it'll go off and look for multiple occurrences and highlight them. If I think I want to search the whole bundle set, I click all documents and it'll search the whole bundle set. No, I won't do all. And then I simply click redact and it'll find that pattern of data and place the redaction placeholder over that data for me. We'll worry about committing it later. Outside of that, I can highlight stuff. No, I think we've all seen highlighters. So if I just do some highlighting, I can also add public and private comments or notes. So a public note is something that I can make available to everybody in my team. So I can write a note about something and make that available to everybody, but I can also add private notes, and a private note is something I can hide from everybody else in my team. So, I can make it just available to myself and maybe someone else. Private note. The final thing I can do, and this is quite regular, is the idea of pinpointing or hyperlinking. Now, to pinpoint or hyperlink, I've various ways of doing it, because I can create hyperlinks. I can create relative, absolute, and internal hyperlink. So in this instance, I want to hyperlink to another document within my bundle set. So let's say Michael James has an exhibit document. I simply double click on Michael James here. if I had such a document, let's say that's my exhibit document, I select the document, I choose the page number because remember I can pinpoint it, I choose a background color and I click OK. And that now creates a hyperlink and a bookmark to that document. If I click Save to apply the changes, and if I quickly generate the bundle once more, this time it's version 4. Now when I'm generating a bundle with annotations, be aware that you can switch on or switch off any annotation based on who you're generating the bundle in this instance for. So if I was generating the bundle for the other side solicitors, let's say, in this instance, I would apply redactions. I would remove everything else because I don't want you to see my highlighting comments. If I'm doing it for somebody on my side, I'll do quite the opposite. If I'm generating it for myself or somebody on my team, I might generate it with my own private comments and annotations. If I'm generating for counsel on my side, I will apply redactions, but I'll apply them indicatively. So therefore they see that the data is redacted, but they can see through it. In this instance, I'll switch that off and just generate. So very quickly, the idea is that you get into the habit of generating a bundle in each instance for somebody in mind. So if it's for the other side, for the court, for your client, for whoever, you may produce different versions of it. And that's the idea behind it. So if I just quickly look at this, and what I'll do is I'll download it to my desktop just to show you what it's like when it's with annotations, and I'll go into my bookmarks, get rid of this guy, I go down to the notes of trial. You can see with the notes of trial it has burnt that onto it. You can't search behind it, you can't see behind it because it's redacted. It's the same here, it's the same here. This guy's highlighted, I've added my comments here, and this bookmark goes down to this list of special damages down here. Now traditionally with this hyperlink, if I clicked here I'd navigate there, but with hyperlinks now is the hyperlink also creates a bookmark. So I'm in my notes of trial, I want to make reference to Michael James, his exhibit document, I simply click it here and then I go back up. So the idea is that I can create all sorts of different styles of hyperlinks and bookmarks and stuff like that, and just be aware of that. A few other things to note is the output so far has been pretty drab, to put it mildly. I mean, the index looks awful, but you can inject what's known as a custom index. So if I give you 1 or 2 examples of custom indexing, a typical high court case, let's say here, this is my high court case with all my documents and whatever inside. If I just show you the output, the idea with the output and with a custom index is that you can frame the output to suit your style. So the high court case number X, between this guy and that guy on a date. So the first half of the page is about the case, and then I've 4 columns. You know, I can display as many columns as I want, and we follow whatever court or practice directives are set out to do it. So I can, you know, and again, it's just a custom index. I'll give you one other quick example. If I can VSET, it's maybe more local to yourselves. I'll just show you the output as it loads. Again, very similar. The first half of the page is case details, and from there on is my index. So you can produce any booklet of any style that you want using custom indexing. Finally, before I mention some other things, if I just go back to my home page, one other item that's worth considering is when I logged into BundleDocs first, I mentioned internal collaboration and using teams. So for us as colleagues, we tend to work together. We work in a team. I'm in the family team, you're in the family team, we share bundles, that's fine. We can also externally collaborate if needs be, because traditionally, again, to externally collaborate, we actually just post this stuff or we send stuff. So you can externally collaborate on a case-by-case basis, and to do that, we can edit the case in question on the right-hand side, and we have a Collaborators tab. And the idea of the Collaborators tab is this is somebody, I can send this invite to any third party outside the practice. Now, they don't need to be licensed users, it's a free service, but you can invite them with different levels of permission. So if I invite, say, counsel as an analyst, it allows them access to that Woods versus Trees case as an analyst. An analyst can only read the documents. They cannot make any changes. They can annotate, but they can't make changes. They can't take away copies of any data. If I invite them as a downloader, it gives them slightly higher levels of permissions. Again, they can't make any changes, but they can, in this instance, download individual copies of documents or download, say, a bundle that you've previously generated. If I invite somebody as a contributor, I'm saying to them, you can work with me on this bundle. In other words, you can upload documents, you could do all sorts of stuff. So the idea is that a contributor is somebody that will actually work with you like on a par in a particular case. So just be aware of that. So in summary, BundleDocs is to produce these electronic bundles. It's a 5-step process. The standard is you follow this pattern, you create your workspace, and you follow this pattern. You create your folders, you upload your documents, you generate your bundle, and you distribute the bundle. Now, up to this, all we've actually produced, and again, if I go back down here, up to this, all we've actually produced is a single PDF. So if you look here, this is my single PDF. It's indexed, it's searchable, it's bookmarked, it's the whole lot. Now, the one exception to that is if I just move into the second part of this phase, because I'm conscious of our time, is the New Zealand protocol. So if you look very quickly, and I'm going to skip straight into an example I have. With the New Zealand Superior Courts, what they've asked for is that we use a thing called volumes, and then we use folders. So we've in the High Court, you tend to have for judicial use, pleadings, evidence, a common bundle. Under these volumes, you have folders. Under these folders, you have documents. If you look here, evidence, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. And if you're aware of this, you'll know that there's a Bates numbering affixed to each section. So Bates numbering 10 identifies for judicial use. Bates numbering 101 identifies pleadings, 2 evidence, and 3 common bundle. And volume 1 is 1, volume 2 is 2. So as you upload documents, what we do is we generate the bundle. So the bundle is produced. Now this is an example where I've produced the bundle as a single PDF, but we'll show you the difference. So if you look here, if I go into my pleadings or if I go into my evidence, and I go down to say an affidavit, I simply click on it and it brings me there directly. But the importance is that if I go back to my table of contents and just minimize this, you can see it carries the Bates numbering according to the protocol. So if you have evidence volume 1, they'll always begin with 201 dot something. Evidence volume 2 will always begin with 202 dot something, and so on and so forth. You can see my common bundle is 301, 301, 301, 302 with the page number offset beginning at 251. So we handle all that. Now in this instance, this is a single PDF, but in BundleDocs, if I just go into my case here, my zipped example, when we generate the bundle, in this instance, we make one subtle change. When we're generating the bundle, what we do is we tell the system to generate the bundle as a PDF zip. In other words, rather than a single PDF, I want you to generate as multiple PDFs, and also to rename my documents using the New Zealand numbering protocol. And just to show you what the output looks like, what it'll do in this instance, it'll produce the case we were looking at. If I go into it, you can see it's produced the table of contents and it's renamed all the documents as individual PDFs in the Bates numbering protocol that's been set out. So if I just go in, if I open my table of contents, if I simply double click on that, now the difference with this table of contents, even though it looks the same, and I just get rid of this guy, is these guys now are all referencing individual documents. So let's say I want to go into my evidence and I want to look at this affidavit. If I click on this affidavit, it opens up as a separate PDF, because remember, these are all separate documents now, but they're all hyperlinked and bookmarked together. So if you look at my pleading documents, I go into my statement of claim, it'll open my statement of claim. Now within this statement of claim example, I've created, I can create hyperlinks, I can do the whole lot, but the idea is that with the New Zealand numbering protocol, what we can do is we can produce bundles, and not as a single PDF, but we can produce the, we can upload, we can follow the Bates numbering standard protocol, and then when we generate the bundle, we produce an output that looks like this. So we've our table of contents and we've all our interlinked documents, which we can open individually by clicking here, or we can open by clicking here. We just seen that I can go back to my table of contents, and if I want to look at any document, I can go this way or that way. If I want to look at that affidavit, if I click on it, it will open up as a separate PDF for me and I can preview it. So just beware of that. So again, I'm conscious of the time. It's 3:38. That's it in summary. There's two things that I kind of want you to remember. One is the basic fundamentals of BundleDocs is the standard where you produce a single PDF. You follow the 5-step process. The exception to that is where you use New Zealand numbering. And again, for users, we show you how to do that. The process is the same. It's the same process. You create your folders, you upload, you generate, and you distribute. It's the output is slightly different. So that kind of wraps me up. Nick, can I hand it back to you, please?
Yes, please, Brian. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Thank you very much, Brian. Okay. Well, thanks very much for that insightful presentation of how BundleDocs dovetails in with Actionstep. Just so those who have participated, in the event that you'd like to find out more about BundleDocs, please reach out to myself. So nick.goldrick@bundledocs.com. Otherwise, please reach out for Actionstep to Tyler Bannerman, tyler.bannerman@Actionstep. In the event that we've got any questions, please feel free to type in the GoToWebinar bar. And in the event that you'd like to find out more about Actionstep, please get in touch with Tyler. And for BundleDocs, please get in touch with myself. Just to reiterate, thank you to the Actionstep team. We've enjoyed working with you. And moving forward, BundleDocs is a monthly subscription product. So if there is interest, please do get in touch, and happy to have a conversation with you then. Okay, thanks very much all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Tyler. Cheers.